What's up, YouTube? We got a new rifle out here today that needs to be zeroed, so I figured I'd take this opportunity to share with you guys what I know about zeroing a rifle. Your zero is, I would say, the most important piece of information that you need to know about your rifle, and you need to understand what that means in order to be able to hit your target at different ranges, right? The rifle that we're going to be using today was it's actually made by Leviathan. It's a really good looking AR-15 platform. It's put together well, and it is outfitted with this really cool Woox stock, or furniture, I guess they call it on an AR-15, right, Blake? Woox furniture. This is something that's pretty unique. You know, everything kind of looks the same that's out there on the market for this platform, but this is totally unique. This is made out of wood, actually, really nice wood. You do have some rail sections up here, and then you have the M-lock rail sections all the way around the front handguard. The grip is a nice angle, it's textured well, and then the adjustable buttstock back here, it also has wood. It's got a really nice, comfortable recoil pad. It has QD sling attachment points on both sides, and then it has a leather cheek piece right there that you're gonna set your cheek down on. I have never seen anything like this. I've never seen high-end wood furniture for this style of rifle, and I just think it looks outstanding. It kind of breaks it up a little bit and brings something different to the table. You guys, if you're like me, you have a safe full of these style rifles here, and they all look the same, but this one is definitely looks way more high-end. So Woox, good job. You guys, everything that we've gotten to put our hands on from you guys has been super high-end, super tight, and just a timeless and unique design. And we really appreciate the opportunity to be able to own rifles that are outfitted with your stocks and your furniture. Yeah, super cool, man. I'm looking forward to getting out here and shooting it. Now, obviously, this wood, it's nice hard wood, but it will get beat up out here on the range. I'm cool with that, man. I think the more we beat this up, the more character it's gonna have, and I kind of like that too. It'd be interesting to see what this rifle looks like after using it for a couple of months. So, zero. The most important thing, this thing is not zeroed in, so we're gonna take you through the process out here. It's the most important piece of information you need to know about your rifle. There's kind of two standard, I guess, combat zeros that are out there. It's the 25-yard and the 50-yard zero. In the military, we always use the 25-yard zero. I don't know why. I don't think it's the best distance to zero the rifle at, but that's what we used. And you can generally consider a 25-yard zero also a 300-yard zero. All right, that's the point with this caliber rifle and the trajectory of this bullet with this standard barrel length. It's not all, look, every rifle shoots different. Without chronographing the rifle, you're not going to be able to get it exact. But from a high level, just a general assumption, if you zero or sight in your rifle at 25 yards, the bullet's going to impact point of aim, point of impact at 300 yards. All right, and I'll draw you a little thing here in a minute so that'll make more sense to you. So 25 and 300. Now, that means everything between 25 and 300 is going to be high, all right? And especially if you're shooting at targets out at 100, 150, or even 200 yards with a 25-yard zero, most of the time you're going to be shooting right over the top of your target. And that's why you have to know your zero, because you have to know what those hold overs are going to be, or hold unders in that case, because you're going to be shooting high at those mid-range distances. I don't like the 25 yard because I think most of the things that I shoot at, whether I'm hunting or competing, are going to be kind of in that mid-range from 100 to 200 yards. There's not a whole lot of stuff I'm going to shoot at, especially to try to kill with this rifle out at 300 yards. If I'm shooting at animals out at 300 yards, I'm going to have a 308 or something that packs a little more punch, right? The other one is the 50 yard. So the 50 yard, if you zero at 50, you would consider that 50 and 200, all right? So it gives you better mid-range accuracy, which again, I think is the more common distances you're going to be shooting at with a 5.56. Now, just like the 25 and 300, the 50 and 200, it's not going to be exact. If you zero at 50, depending on how fast your bullet's moving, what grain you're using, all of that stuff, again, without a chronograph, it's not gonna, you can't dial it in. But I know the rifle that I compete with, a 50 yard zero, it zeroes out again at like 260, all right? So it's just a little past 200. But just, again, a general overview is 50 and 200, all right? So I'll draw a little picture to show you guys what that looks like. All right, so a really simple illustration here. If we're shooting from right here, I haven't drawn a stick figure in a long time. We're shooting from right here. Again, we have a target. Let's say we have a target here at 50. And then we're going downrange, and then we have a target here at 200. When we shoot our bullet immediately begins to rise, all right? Because bullets are magical, and gravity does not affect bullets until they get way out here, right? So our bullet begins to rise, and let's say it centers. Let's say we were aiming, that's center target. We're zeroed at 50. So it passes through the center point, exactly where we want it to hit at 50. Well, it continues to rise. All the way through these mid-ranges until it falls through the target right here at 200. All right, so you have a 50 yard zero, it rises, falls back through the target at 200-ish, back on your zero. That means, again, everything between 50 and 200, all these mid-ranges, so 100, your shots are going to be high, all right? And you have to shoot at all these different ranges to calculate how high it's going to be. So you have to play around with this. You have to shoot at all these different ranges to calculate how far you're going to hold over or hold under when you're zeroing your rifle and trying to figure out where you need to hold in between your two zeros or even beyond as that bullet continues to drop, how far high you need to hold if you're going to shoot at targets out here at 300 or something with a 50 yard zero. All right, so that's just like a really basic explanation for you guys. The bullet doesn't travel like a daggone laser beam out of the barrel, all right? The bullet is coming out, it's rising, and then it's falling. So it's got an arc to it. It's not like a laser beam. So we're gonna start with this thing. We're gonna shoot at this box right here. Now, instead of drawing a dot right here and shooting at that dot, I'm actually going to use the corners of this box to shoot at. All right, it's a more precise point that I can aim at. So, and it gives me 4 of them as I dial it in. I'm going to start down here, and so instead of shooting at a dot or shooting at some, you know, big circular target or something like that, I'm just going to aim right at the corner, the tip of that corner right there on that box, and it's going to give me, again, a more precise point to aim at, which is going to hopefully tighten my group up. You guys all know on the movie The Patriot, he says aim small, miss small. So when you're zeroing, you want to have the smallest little, most precise point that you want to aim at to tighten your group up as much as possible. All right, so we're going to do a 25-yard zero here, just for the sake of me not having to walk that target 50 yards down the range. 25-yard zero. If you can get your hands on a shooting bench and you can maybe have a vise to put your gun in, it's going to give you a better zero. The more you can take your movement out of the equation, the more accurately you're going to be able to zero the rifle. If you don't have a shooting bench, the next best thing is going to be to have some sandbags to have on the ground and lay prone, but we're freaking poor around here and we don't have any of that. So the best thing we're going to be able to do is just lay prone on the ground and get as steady as we can. So I'm going to rest the magazine on the ground right there. I'm going to grip the front of the mag well with this hand. Now, in the prone position, we want to get as much contact with the ground as possible. So my legs are spread out and I'm not up on my toes with my feet. I'm going to have my feet flattened out against the ground, so I'm getting as much contact with the ground as possible to get as stable as I can get from this position. When I go to press this trigger, most of you are used to shooting with a full grip like this, but zeroing is precision shooting. So when I go to press this trigger and start shooting my first group, I'm going to take this thumb right here, and instead of wrapping it around the grip, I'm going to move it to this side, and it's going to put everything in better alignment with my trigger finger, and it's going to help me get a more precise and smooth trigger press. Also, I want each of these shots to break at the same point in my breath. I don't want to take a shot when I'm halfway through my exhale and then take the next shot at the bottom of the breath and then take the next shot when I've got a full lung of air. I want to try to make each one of these shots break at the same point in my breath. I'm going to shoot a 5-shot group here. Another thing on this trigger, I'm going to press the trigger with my trigger finger at the bottom of the trigger, all right? So I'm not going to be way up here. I'm not even going to be in the center. I'm going to be down at the bottom of the trigger. This is just an old GI trigger, but the way for me to get the most mechanical advantage is to press down here at the bottom of the trigger, and it's going to give me the lightest trigger, or the best, most, I guess, yeah, lightest trigger press I can get out of this thing. So I'm going to do a 5-shot group. All right, let's go see where we hit. All right, there's my 5-shot group. Again, I was aiming at that bottom right corner right there. So I'm shooting high and to the left. Now, every optic is different in terms of how much adjustment you're going to get per click, all right? This one doesn't have it on there. Most of them have it marked on there, whatever. 1 click is a quarter MOA, all right? So at 100 yards, 1 click would be 1/4 of an inch. So 4 clicks would be an inch at 100 yards. I don't know what this one is. Do you, Blake?
No, it's probably half.
You think it's a 1/2 inch?
Probably.
All right. So if you wonder inches and you're poor, and you want to see how many inches down and right do I need to come, this part of your finger right here is about 1 inch. All right, that part of your finger. So all you do is flex your finger like this, and then you say, all right, 1, 2, 3 inches down, and about 1.5 inches to the right. And we're gonna make our adjustments. So one of our partners here at 307 Project is Barbell Apparel, and it's getting about that season to start putting your jeans on, man. It's cooling off, thank goodness. I'm about tired of this Georgia heat. Barbell Apparel makes the most functional pair of jeans that I have ever worn in my life. It's actually how our partnership with Barbell Apparel started. For years and years, I could not find a pair of jeans that were actually functional, that I could wear out on the range, that I could wear out to dinner, that I could wear I could literally wear them in the gym if I wanted to, because they fit good and they have some stretch in them, so they move with your body. All right, they don't bind up. You don't have to wash them 10,000 times before they're actually broken in enough that you can wear them comfortably. All the pairs of jeans that I've had in the past, it's like about the time they got comfortable, they were wore out and they started to get holes in them and look like trash. These come right out of the box, ready to rock and roll. And again, the unique thing about them is just that added stretch that they have, the fit, the athletic cut, the durability. You can work in these things the same way you would work in a pair of your big box store jeans that you've heard of for years and years, and these are going to have the same, if not better, durability. Barbell Apparel stands behind their products. They're awesome people, and you're just not going to find anything better. They come in multiple different cuts, whether you want a more athletic straight leg or you want something like this that's more of a boot cut jean that's going to kind of taper out and flare out at the bottom to go over your boot. You're going to be able to find what you want in the color that you want, in the fit that you want, and I promise you, you are not going to find anything else like it on the market. So you guys go over and check out Barbell Apparel, and specifically, it's cooling off, get you a pair of jeans, man. You're going to be happy. It's important that it's important to us that you guys support the companies that support this show, because that's a big part of you guys and our partners is what makes all of this happen. So check them out, barbellapparel.com. Thank you, Barbell, for being a longtime supporter of us here at 307 Project, and just for being awesome human beings in general. All right, we don't have a tool out here, so I'm just going to use the rim of that brass casing right there to fit into that slot. We're going to come down 24. All right, and then we needed to come 1.5 inches over, so I'm gonna come 12 clicks to the right. That's assuming that each of them clicks is half MOA at 100. All right, shoot our next 5-shot group at that same bottom corner. let's go check it. Think we came too much, Blake.
Yep.
I'll tell you what though, man, this rifle, it groups good to have just a old GI trigger in it. I mean,
Yeah.
it clumps them right on in there. So we need to come back up about 1.5 inches. All right, we made our adjustments. So I think when zeroing, I don't think a 3-shot group is really enough, because a lot of y'all ain't as good as me, and you're gonna have a lot of flyers. So I like a 5-shot group just to really show where the rifle's grouping at. Let's go check it out. All right, there's our last group. And I personally call that good, all right? Aiming right there at that corner, I'm gonna call that good. So we're zeroed in now at 25. So again, about 300, we should be able to aim again at that corner right there. And we're gonna be point of aim, point of impact out at 300. Now of course with that daggone sight right there, that optic, you're not gonna really, you might be able to hit this silhouette at 300, but you're not going to take any precision shots. So that's a really broad overview in really layman's terms for people who don't understand why your zero is so important, what it really means, or how to do it, right? Again, 25 yards here. Now everything between here and 300, we're gonna be shooting real high. And you gotta practice shooting at all those mid-range distances to figure out how far under you need to hold in order to hit where you wanna hit on the target. And one thing that we haven't covered, what about everything between here and the end of this barrel back there at 25 yards? Where's all that stuff gonna shoot? All that's going to shoot low. So if I take this target and I put it at 7 yards, my shots are going to be low. So at 7 yards, even with a 25-yard zero, I'm going to have to hold high in order to hit where I want to aim at. All right, so I hope all that makes sense to you guys. Hope it might clear up some confusion and might challenge you guys to go and actually zero your rifle, know where it's zeroed, and to play with it at different ranges to figure out your holdovers so that you can actually hit what you're shooting at all those different zeros. So really like this rifle. Really am impressed with this Woox furniture. It's just so unique, man, and it's good to see something new on the market that we can do to these rifles to give them a little more classy look, right? I'm really happy with it all the way around. Awesome unit right there. Thank you guys. Check them out. I think it's probably just woox.com. Check them out, man. They got all kinds of stuff on there. So let me know if you got anything out of this video. in the comments. Love you guys. Enough said.